Every NBA playoffs, there are a couple players that can change the whole landscape of the entire NBA. These players can either make a team do much better and perform much better than
Okay.
expected, or disappoint and overall have their team disappoint in the playoffs. So today we're going to be talking about four of the biggest X factors in the 2022 playoffs. This will be for the top teams in the Western Conference and Eastern Conference that can change who will be the champions. Especially with the NBA being so wide open on both the West and the East, these X factors can really change so much, and their play can really determine how their teams will perform this year's playoffs. So before we start, make sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel, as it further motivates you to make more videos like this. So let's get right into it. The first player we're going to be talking about is Tyrese Maxey. In my opinion, he's one of the biggest X factors in the entire Eastern Conference. He can pretty much change everything for the Sixers. We know Embiid is going to put up monster numbers. Harden is a little bit inconsistent, but if Tyrese Maxey can step up, that changes his whole team. There are other players like Tobias Harris, Matisse Thybulle, Georges Niang, Danny Green. They aren't really the most consistent, and if they can have Tyrese Maxey step up, that can just be so good. He fits well with Harden as a cutter, a catch and shoot shooter. He's currently averaging 17, 3, and 4 on 48% from the field, 41% from 3, and 86% from the line. Maxey has improved so much over his second season, and if he proves to be a 20-point per game scorer on 48% shooting, 41% from 3, that can really help the Sixers so much. Embiid can only do so much, and you don't really know what to expect from Harden and their overall role players. So I think that if Tyrese Maxey can step up, that can really elevate them over a team like the Heat, even maybe the Bucks, which I don't know if will happen, but Maxey just playing well can change everything for the Sixers team. The next X factor we're going to be talking about is Tyler Herro. Herro, go-to guy for pretty much the Heat this entire season. He can also change the playoffs with hitting clutch shots and pretty much being their go-to scorer and guy they want to give a bucket. The Heat are pretty much unstoppable when Herro is popping off, hitting his threes, his off the dribble threes. His playmaking is not bad. And when he's not playing or he's struggling, overall the Heat struggle. If you looked at that 4-game losing streak, Tyler Herro was out for most of those games. And when he returns, they get a win, which they did against their last game against the Celtics. And if he scores, he's just so efficient too. He's been their go-to scorer. And yes, Jimmy, Kyle Lowry, Bam Adebayo are amazing players, but they don't have that go-to scorer, which, yes, they're all amazing scorers, but Tyler Herro is just an instant bucket. We saw in the 2020 playoffs in the bubble, Herro popped off being such a good player and
Okay.
just making so many Heat fans excited. But last year, when he did not play well, they were pretty bad and got pretty much, I think, swept by the Bucks, which is not good, of course, especially with the alterations that they had. So this year, they're really going to depend on Herro to just be that bucket, the guy who they can trust to give them a bucket alongside their really good defense. Herro can just help them against other teams, which they need that extra scoring punch. And I think that if Herro can prove to be the player he is, right now currently being my 6th man of the year, then that's just going to be such a big spark. They already have Jimmy, a superstar caliber player, Bam, an all-star caliber player, Kyle Lowry, an amazing veteran, and their depth is really good. Duncan Robinson, PJ Tucker, other players like that. And if Tyler Herro can step up as that go-to scorer off the bench or as a starter, I think the Heat can be really scary. The next X factor we're going to be talking about is Jaren Jackson Jr. Although Jaren started off pretty slow, he's been pretty good for ever since the start of 2022. After the John Morant injury, he's exploded and has been a lot better. He's currently averaging 16 points, 5 rebounds, and 2 blocks, which is leading the NBA in blocks. If he's hitting his shots and his defense is there, this Grizzlies team can be really scary. His finishing around the paint has improved, and yes, he's not your traditional big man getting just rebounds, but he's still such a versatile defender. He can go out in the perimeter and guard a guard, which is super impressive for his size, and his lateral quickness is very impressive, while also being able to protect the rim at an elite level, which that versatile defense is so important, especially in the playoffs, where they're going to target those mismatches. And if Jaren can stick on someone like Steph Curry or Devin Booker, which I don't expect him to like lock them up, but if he can put up a good fight, then this Grizzlies team has a much higher chance. His shots have been a little bit inconsistent this year, but if he's hitting his shots, he's so deadly. Like I said, his finishing has improved around the basket, which was a big weakness of his game, and he's also shown so much improvement on both ends. He's been more healthy along with that, and that's really helped him just find his groove again. In his second season, he was really good. Third season, not the greatest, and after getting his extension last year, he proved that he absolutely deserves this. This Grizzlies team needs that versatile defender, which, yes, Jonas Valanciunas is a really good defender and just overall player. They need that switchy guy alongside John Moran, Desmond Bane, Dylan Brooks, and they're going to need all those guys to step up, especially Jaren. He's, I would say, at times their second best player and has the talent to be their second best player alongside Ja, and they really need him to just step up, hit his shots, play solid defense, and overall just help them win. And finally, the last player we're going to be talking about is Jordan Poole. With Curry out in the month of March, Jordan Poole has stepped up a lot. He started off hot in the start of the season and got a lot of people excited with his jump shot, explosiveness, and overall confidence. Then he fell in a little slump where he just couldn't really hit a 3-point shot to save his life. But recently in March, he's been on fire. He's averaging 18 points on 45% from the field. He can pop off at so many times, like at that Suns game yesterday. He just took over the game, had 38 points, and yes, he didn't take the best shot at the end, but he's a reason that they were close in the game. His off the ball, his confidence, and he just fits so well alongside Draymond, and especially with Curry being out, they need Jordan Poole to step up. Now, it's going to be really interesting when Curry returns. Clay's, of course, there. Draymond's there. How they're going to integrate him in the offense. Will he be a six-man like Tyler Herro? Or will they use him as just another scorer? Maybe like just getting them out of the shots as Kevin Durant. Of course, not as efficient, but it's somewhat like that role. And I think that if Jordan Poole can prove to be what he's been this month, this team is still super scary. I know they've been struggling with Curry out. They, of course, lost to the Suns last night, and they've got some bad losses recently, but I think that Jordan Poole is no doubt been a bright spot. He can pop off. His offense is just so good, so clean, and alongside the Splash Bros, he's a really good fit. Now, you would like to see his defense improve, but he's still really young. All of this Warriors young core is super impressive, and Jordan Poole is leading that young core to potentially do some great things. He was, at the end of last year, he was really good, and this year he's proven that he's a quality NBA player who can always give you a bucket. And I think that if Jordan Poole can pop off, then I think that they are one of the best teams in the Western Conference. But if he does struggle, if he shoots them out of games, he's too confident, he gets exposed on defense, then the Warriors might have a problem. But I still think he's young. I still think he can do it. He has all the confidence in the world, but I really want to see how he does. So that being said, that's going to be my 4 biggest X factors in the 2022 playoffs. Make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, comment down your thoughts, and I'll see you on next time.